All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jurassic Park 101 show. This is a special episode, as you guys probably heard me say on Fridays that it's not all about the Raptors, but today is about boxing with my friend Zahir. Zahir, how are you today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. So, how's boxing going?
Boxing right now for me is going pretty good. I'm just training consistently. I had a couple fights and they got canceled, but I'm still training. But overall, it's going pretty good.
Cause like, what's your training like? What's your routine?
Well, it's different when I'm preparing for a fight and when I'm just kind of just training for when there is no fight. When I'm training for a fight, it's a lot more discipline, a lot more self-control needed.
Uh,
So the day probably I'll take you through like a little routine. So I'll probably skip. I'll do like jump rope for maybe 4 rounds. That'll take about 15 minutes. And then after that, we have weights. We have 2 pound weights. We'll just basically punch the air for another 15 minutes. And then you get to the good stuff. You have sparring. Around fight time, sparring's really it gets amped up. It's a higher pace, and just to keep you fit. So that's the daily routine when there is a fight coming up, and then of course you got like I can't eat certain stuff, and I gotta drink a lot of water, do a lot of runs, and all that stuff.
all right. So, what weight class are you in?
Right now I fight at 165. That's my weight class.
So, okay, so how long have you been boxing for? Because like before, I thought you only played soccer, so I didn't know.
Well, I've been like I used to get into fights like a lot when I was like younger, like in middle school and all that,
Oh, jeez.
like elementary and middle school, and then in high school I used to play soccer. I've been playing soccer since I was like 8, and then high school I started playing soccer, whatever. And then I don't know if you know about like you used to come on my street. We used to have the
Yeah.
boxing games,
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
boxing
yeah.
games.
Shoalhaven.
Yeah, yeah, and like fight in the garage, and then after that, I was just like, yo, I'll just join a gym because I like to do it. Like I can fight, so I'll just join a gym and try to do something with it. So I've been training for around like 6, 7 months, and right now I only have one fight. I was supposed to have a bunch more, but I told you like in fighting a lot like people will pull out and stuff like that. It's not like guaranteed you're gonna fight when you do have a fight.
All right. Okay, wait. What gym do you like? Is it an academy that you go to?
Well, it's called Gideon Boxing Academy, but yeah, it's basically that's just a name, but it's just like a boxing gym. It's for boxing, yeah.
So is there like a title, like a belt?
And well, I fight in the amateurs right now. It's not
Uh,
a lot of people get the amateurs mixed up with the pro. It doesn't work like, we're not on like Floyd May. We basically do the same thing the pro guys do, but we
uh-huh,
don't get paid. Yeah, we don't get paid at all.
uh-huh.
And we get medals if we win a tournament, but there's no like championship belt in the amateurs. You don't really win like a title. There's just
Uh-huh.
tournaments we go to. Like for example, the Canadian Golden Gloves are coming up in about 2 weeks, I think, and a couple of my teammates are going to that one, and that's like the biggest one in Canada. If you win that one, get you have a chance to get onto Canada's national team, and then from the national team you could go on to the Olympics and whatever. But in the amateurs, there's not really like belts and all that. Just a lot of tournaments, and then if you win, you get your medals and stuff.
All right. So you watch boxing?
Yeah, I watch boxing, MMA. I haven't watched it in a while, but yeah.
Also, do you have a favorite fighter?
Favorite fight boxing right now. I don't know if you guys know him, but Terrence Crawford.
I think I've
He's
heard
not
of
like
him.
he's not like a
Uh-huh.
mainstream boxer like you got like Floyd. Everyone knows Floyd Mayweather because
Yeah.
He talks a lot of trash and stuff, but there's a couple other boxers like that aren't as mainstream as him that are pretty good. But my favorite right now is Terrence Crawford.
Oh, see, like I just started watching boxing. Have you heard of Deontay Wilder?
Yeah. He's another mainstream one. Like everyone knows him too. Yeah,
Like
Deontay
I
Wilder.
started watching boxing when he faced Tyson Fury, and then
Yeah,
I started to know about Anthony Joshua, you know, Jarrell Miller, there's Vladimir Klitschko, and all those guys. Because before, I knew nothing about boxing. I was just like a UFC. I only watched UFC because it's more barbaric, I guess, and it was just more fun to watch. But
yeah,
then, like, my dad was big on boxing. Like, he liked Muhammad Ali and that stuff. So I sort of slowly got into it, and now I started watching it like frequently and stuff like that. So yeah. And
yeah.
so besides the fighting like at school and stuff, did anything else propel you to get into boxing?
Um, well, I was just like looking for something to do. Like I was in uni and I was just like, yo, like I was just like looking for something to do. And
Uh-huh.
I started looking for other I was looking for like boxing gyms around my area, and this is the one I found. So far so good. I like it. They have like if anyone's interested, they have good coaches. Boxing and fighting in general takes a lot of discipline, but if you're down for it, it's not like the other sports, but if you're down for it, it's good. Been good so far. But yeah, that was basically just it. I was just in uni looking for something to do, and I've always been
Uh-huh.
like an aggressive person and all that. So I was just like, yo, I'll try this out and see what happens.
So are you trying to go pro with it or?
Uh, well, I do jujitsu on the side. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
That's basically like wrestling, but with submission. So you can arm bar guys, you could choke them out, all that stuff.
Oh,
So I
geez,
do
so you're
box.
dangerous.
I'm dangerous, yo. Try me. So I do boxing, I do jujitsu. I don't want to go pro in boxing. I'm 22, so I'm gonna try something, go pro in MMA maybe when I'm like 26, 27. But right now I'm just
Uh-huh.
focused on like just getting better every day and like fighting
Uh-huh.
as much as I can because I feel like competing is like the best way to improve in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm just training every day and then fighting as much as I can, get as much experience, and then when I'm like 26, 27, I'll see where I'm at and I'll might go pro.
All right. So like when you train every day, how long is it? Like how many hours a day?
Well, um, I'll say it varies day by day, but like my longest days start at 11 a.m. in the morning and they
Uh-huh.
finish at like 10 p.m. at night. So
That, geez.
yeah, so like I have like jujitsu in the morning from like 11 to 1. Then I'll
Uh-huh.
come home. I'll come home, I'll eat some stuff. Maybe if I have time, I'll take a nap. Then I have boxing from like 4 to 6, and
Uh-huh.
then jujitsu from like 6 to 9, 9:30, and then I'll just go home after that. But that's
Gee,
one of my
that's
that's like the longer days, but usually like I'll say one like on the shorter days too, it's maybe like 5, 6 hours.
oh, that's still pretty that's pretty long. Wow.
Yeah, it's 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 tough, but I love it. So
All right, so obviously in boxing, there's obviously a physical game as long as a mental game, all right? So when you go into a match, what's your mental state at? Like what is it like for you?
yeah, that's the other thing. Like a lot of people think boxers walk around like fighters walk around all like angry and stuff, but
Yeah.
like for me personally, I'm like super calm. I don't get any nerves. I'm like super, super calm, like relaxed. I just feel like if you're angry, you make more mistakes because you're not thinking clearly. But yeah,
Yeah.
when I go into a fight, I'm just calm. Like that's me. Like I'm just super, super calm, just ready to fight. Like that's it.
All right. And have you ever been knocked out?
No, no. Hopefully, I won't ever get knocked out. I have been my first fight I did lose, and I had in amateurs they have the standing eight count. So it's
Uh-huh.
basically anytime, well, it depends on the referee, but anytime your head kind of just pops up, so you get punched and your head gets like, your neck gets like snapped back like that whiplash,
Yeah.
and the referee sees it, they'll kind of stop the fight and give you, the eight count. They'll count until eight and they'll be like, all right, are you ready to go? Da
Uh-huh.
da da, and continue to fight. So I have been given two standing eight counts in my first fight. But I have not been knocked out yet, and I hope I never will be knocked out yet. I have been choked unconscious in jujitsu though. So
Oh,
it's
what does that even feel
yeah,
like? How does that feel? Do you remember anything
yes.
from that?
Well, it was in training. It wasn't even in like a actual match, but it was in training, and I just remember all I remember is waking up. I don't remember like going out, and I just woke
Uh-huh.
up, and my training partner was just there. He was like all like scared. He was like, "Yo, yo, you good?" Then I was like, I didn't even know what happened. I was like, "Yo, what happened?" Like I didn't know. It just feels like waking up from a nap, to be honest. And, like
Oh,
that's it.
geez.
Yeah.
Because like the whole knockout, I've seen play or fighters in the UFC and boxing get knocked out, and you know how sometimes they have like they start to like shiver and stuff on the ground and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always want to know what that felt like, but without getting knocked out, like, not without getting punched in the face, right? Because
Yeah.
it's interesting, and then sometimes like okay, did you watch the Tyson Fury and the Deontay Wilder fight?
No, I saw highlights. I saw when he went down though, when Tyson Fury went down.
Yeah, because he look when he smacked his head off his head bounced off the canvas, and he was just looking straight up. And like at the moment, I thought he was gonna die because he wasn't moving. And then he
Yeah.
slowly. So I wanted to know how that feels like, but without getting hit in the head.
Without getting punched in the face. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been punched hard before. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good, but yeah, I hope I don't get to feel how that feels. I don't want to. But yeah.
I, so okay. So do you have to like do weight cuts and stuff like that?
Well, for me, for my first fight, I had to do like a pretty big, I had like about I'll say 4 or 5 months to get ready for my first fight.
Uh-huh.
And I was 196 when I started,
Uh-huh.
196 pounds, and I
Uh-huh.
had to cut down to 165. So that was like 30 pounds in like 4 or 5 months, which it wasn't too bad, but I had to like my diet, I had to be very, very disciplined. But right now for my fights, I walk around. So like my normal weight like every day is around like 170, and then
Uh-huh.
when it's time to fight, I'll cut down to 165.
So like the whole losing weight over the 5 months, how did that affect you physically? Like, did it make you tired? Were you in pain or anything?
During the fight, I did get a little like I think I just didn't warm up properly, so I did
Uh-huh.
get like a little gassed out during the fight, but other than that, nothing really physically. Nothing. Yeah, it didn't really affect me too much. Yeah.
So how long are like the usual fights for you for amateurs?
In the amateurs, the fights are just it's like a blitz. It's like three three rounds and they're 2 minutes each, and that's
Uh-huh.
in yeah. And in the amateurs, they have different classes as well. So like there's the novice, and then
Uh-huh.
there's the open class. So novice, which I'm in right now, it's three 2-minute rounds, and it's like it sounds like really short, but when you're in there, like and someone when the pressure's on, it's like, yo, it's crazy, right? And then there's
Yeah.
the open class. Once you fight 10 fights, you get into the open class, and open class is when stuff gets real. That's like when you can compete to go to the Olympics. You can, if you have enough experience, you can turn pro, all of that. And in open class, it's three 3-minute rounds. But open class, it's not as like there's a like in novice class, it's like just a blitz, like basically a street fight. To be honest, some of the fights just turn into street fights. But in the open
Uh-huh.
class, it's like it takes a lot more skill and all that in the open class. Guys actually know how to punch, so they'll hit you harder. They'll set up counters and do all that stuff. But yeah.
Wow. So okay. So obviously, before you get into a fight, right? Does your is there a is there press conferences for amateur?
Amateur, not really. No, amateurs, honestly, if anyone's trying to get into boxing, it's gonna be nothing like the pros and the amateur. Basically, amateurs, you do the same train similar to the same training the pro guys do. Obviously, the fights are shorter, so not as intense, but you don't get paid anything at all, and you're gonna have to like it's just a grind in the amateurs. Like there's no money in it. You have to love fighting to like
Uh-huh.
do it in amateurs because there's no like zero money at all. You may make money if you get like sponsorships and stuff like that, but we don't get paid for fights or anything like that in the amateurs.
All right. So do you have like okay? So who sets these fights up for you? Like,
Uh, mm, well, there's Boxing Ontario and then Boxing Canada and my coach at Gideon Boxing Academy. The tournaments, I think they're set up by Boxing Ontario, and then we have like individual, they're called club shows. So
uh-huh.
every well, not every, but some clubs put on shows. Like I don't know if you were like on my Instagram story like last week, you
Yeah,
saw
I
me like
see it.
yeah, posting stuff about like that was my Gideon Boxing Academy's club show.
Uh-huh.
So and other clubs have shows, and my coach would just call up a club and be like, "Hey, I got this guy. He has one fight. He weighs 165 pounds. Can you get him a fight?" And that's usually how it works when you're looking for fights. And then the tournaments, those are just guaranteed fights. Like you just show up at the tournament, they do a little
Uh-huh.
draw, and then you fight. You fight whoever you're fighting. But yeah, those are the two ways you can get fights in amateurs.
All right. So in the sport of boxing, obviously there's trash talk, right? So have you ever done any trash talking to anybody?
Nah, and you try to just like like again, like I said, like amateurs, there's none of the glamour in
Uh-huh.
like the pros. In the pros you see guys trash talking. I do like
Yeah.
I love trash talking in general, like but
Yeah.
but a lot of times in the amateurs you don't even know who you're fighting. Like you'll just show up to the fight and they'll be like, "Yo,
Oh.
you're fighting." Yeah, so you there isn't really a chance to even trash talk. But yeah, most like unless you get higher up, like into open class, maybe
Uh-huh.
guys in open class trash talk. But yeah, in amateurs, nah, not really.
Oh, all right. So, okay, obviously when you before a fight, you feel like the average fighter will go into a fight fine, but then when you actually get into the fighting, you get gassed sometimes, and you know how it is, right? Because
Yeah,
adrenaline. So how do you feel that?
yeah. Like some fights, well, not even like some fights, even in sparring, you'll get if you're not doing your proper conditioning and your runs and stuff, you're gonna get gassed. Like in boxing, you have to like you can't cut corners in fighting and boxing. You gotta be like keep yourself honest. Like you gotta do your runs, you gotta do your sprints, you gotta do the conditioning and all that stuff because the other guy you're fighting, if he's been doing all that work and you kind of just you've been messing around, slacking off, you're gonna get you're gonna pay for it, right? He's gonna beat you up and you're gonna get gassed out. So yeah, I've been gassed out in sparring a lot, but I've only had one fight, so I haven't really experienced that in my fight.
So do you guys have like judges stuff for like the scorecard stuff?
Yeah, that's where it gets interesting in boxing. It's yeah, we got to judges. There's usually three for a fight, and
Uh-huh.
it's that's when like I guess that's what the one of the bad parts of the sport you can say because judges you don't like I mean, you have to have a judge because those two guys in the ring would probably end up killing each other if there was no judge,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, but judging is kind of iffy in boxing because a lot of decisions, there's a lot of politics. So sometimes the guys who actually won the fight won't get the win because the judges, for whatever reason, don't think he won the fight. And there's a whole bunch of drama with judges. But yeah, there's judges in the amateurs.
Yeah, because like the whole judges thing, and then sometimes when the fight goes a distance, and someone should have won, and then it seems like it's rigged for me, I guess, because sometimes I do think it's rigged, because and then like the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight, there was a lot of controversy around that, because I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, but like honestly, Tyson Fury dominated the whole, like not the whole fight, but the majority of the fight. But then
Yeah.
Wilder got those two knockdowns. So it's for me, I'm not sure, because like, obviously I'm gonna say Deontay because I'm gonna be biased because that's my guy. So it's a bit iffy, like the whole judge thing. And then do you keep up with like the KSI boxing stuff?
Nah, I don't, but that's pretty sick, yo. Those guys made a lot of money off that. But I
Oh
was gonna
yeah.
say, yeah, I was gonna say the reason why, well, in the amateurs, the reason why judges, there's a lot of politics, because of the national team and whatever, whatever. But in the pros, they sometimes the decisions will look rigged because
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of money involved. Like in the pros, it's millions of dollars involved. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you know about the Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo fight.
Like I've
The
heard of
first,
both of them, but I didn't know. I don't know
yeah,
about like the fight.
yeah. So they fought in their first fight, I think, and everyone was like, "Yo, Gennady Golovkin won that fight." Da 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 da. But the judges gave it. I think it was a draw, but everyone felt like he won the fight. But a lot of times when you see like stuff like that happen, there's a lot of money involved because there's millions of dollars involved. And if they, a rematch would make everyone so much more money. So that's why you kind of see that in the pros, judges kind of, and then because now if Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought again, you would want to see that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but so everyone would want to see that. So more money. So as long as there's money involved, that's the whole problem. But you got to get paid. So
So have you experienced any like controversy like that in any of your matches?
I haven't experienced it personally, but I've heard from like my teammates at the gym, that
Uh-huh.
judges have kind of messed them up. Like they won the fight and judges have given it to the other guy for whatever reason. But yeah, it's a lot of politics.
All right. So when you go to the gym, right, and is there like a rankings in the gym, like, who's the best, who's second? Is there any of that, like standings?
Uh, Not well. I mean, you kind of know who the good guys are, but at our gym, no one really. There's no prima donnas, no like superstars. Like everyone
Yeah.
treats everyone. Like the guys who are like at the top, they treat like the
Uh-huh.
guys at the bottom. Like they'll teach you. They'll come over and teach you techniques. They'll come over and give you advice and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
So at
that's
our
nice.
gym, yeah, yeah. So at our gym, there's no like none of that stuff. Everyone kind of helps each other out in sparring and stuff and all that.
So, all right, when you compare, like, obviously for professional or the big time mainstreamers like AJ and stuff, and they have the press conferences with trash talking, and then compare it to, see, for me, I watch professional boxing. I didn't know anything about the amateur stuff because it's not really on TV, and for for me, like, it's so much different. So, would you? So, do you think there's any similars like beside the fighting itself, like with amateur and professional?
Anything similar? I guess the type of training we do and they do. We do like the runs and the sprints and sparring and stuff. The training is obviously like the biggest similar, but other than that, not really because yeah, that's just about it, the training.
All right. So, okay, if Anthony Joshua face Deontay Wilder, who do you think would win?
Um, I'll probably go. I'll I'll probably go. Yeah, that's a tough one, but I'll go with Anthony Joshua. If it's a long fight, Anthony Joshua would win. I think he's just better. Like he has better technique and all that stuff. But Deontay Wilder hits hard. Like he'll
Oh
one
yeah,
punch, yeah, one punch and he can end the fight. So it's kind of weird. It's like a good boxer with good power. AJ he's good boxing. He has good power. And then Deontay Wilder, who isn't really like a good boxer, but he
yeah.
has that he has that one punch knockout. So that would be a good fight.
Cause
But I would think AJ.
so yeah, bro. Like for me, obviously, I like Deontay, so I have to go with him. But when you said like the technique isn't really there, that's true. Because when he injures someone, then his arms start flailing around, like he just goes crazy. Which
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
he's
it it doesn't. Because for me, I don't box, right? So I don't know much technique really. So for me, like it's not. I don't know until I see someone. It's like, oh, wow, he did this wrong, this wrong. It's like, oh snap, that's not good, right? But then like AJ, he's pretty good as well. But then that right hand of Deontay Wilder is like that will knock you down. That'll knock you out clean your clock completely. And then the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder. So the press conference, Deontay's like, yeah, Tyson, you have to be perfect the whole fight. I have to be perfect for 1 second, which I mean he's not wrong because you're not gonna see that punch coming at all unless you just read into it. But if you don't see that punch coming, it's game. Your night's over. So I'd still pick Deontay because I'm a fan. So all right. So like, okay, do you watch boxing from like other parts of the world, like in different countries?
um I mean I'll watch like the amateur highlights on YouTube. Like they have boxing amateur tournaments in Europe and stuff. Amateur
Uh-huh.
boxing's amateur boxing's really big in Europe and all that over in Europe, but I don't really watch like professional boxing from other parts of the country. I mean other parts
Oh,
of the world.
have you been on any tournaments like around Canada or anything?
Um, my first fight I fought in the Brampton Cup, so that's
Oh,
like one of the biggest in Canada, I guess you could say. They had about like 400 fighters fight
oh,
in
jeez.
fight in Brampton. So that was like where my first fight was. But yeah, that's the
So
only
how
tournament I've been at so far.
so how long does that even take to like find a winner?
Well, it took what was it like 3 days I think? Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but yeah, they had to like do the draws and everything, but yeah, it was 3 days to find. Well, every weight class has like a winner. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many weight classes there were, but yeah, every weight class would have a winner in that.
Jeez, that's a lot of fight. So if someone won, would they have to fight like a back-to-back?
Well, no, the rules are you could only fight one day, one fight per day. So you could only fight, like say the tournament was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You could
Uh-huh.
fight Friday, you could fight Saturday, and you can fight Sunday. You can't fight more than once in a day. I think that's how it goes. Because for like safety reasons, obviously.
Yeah. So for like the tournament, what was your experience like?
It was my first fight, and I was fighting, or like the guy I was fighting had a lot more experience than me. But
Uh-huh.
the experience overall, I found it pretty good. And but I lost that first fight, but it was a pretty I guess it was a fat it was started out as a really really fast paced fight, and it was one of those fights where I didn't win, but I felt like I earned, you earn that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you show like, yo, I can actually do this. I can fight, I'm not scared of this. So it was one of
Yeah.
those fights. Yeah.
So if someone win, like, what do you get as a winner of the tournament?
You get your medal, and then you'll get like, you know, in the novice, you won't really get any people won't really notice you, but in the open class, if you win a tournament, people will kind of like people they'll have their eyes on you and keep track of you. But the guy I fought, the guy I lost to actually won the tournament. So you
Oh,
just get
see,
your
it's not
medal.
all bad. See, then you lost
Yeah.
to the best. So that's not that bad.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he won the tournament. And yeah, and the novice, you don't really get too much like people don't really notice you for that, but once you get into the open class, people will like they'll have their eyes on you and stuff if you do win a tournament.
All right, so obviously being an athlete, is pretty hard. You can't do stuff that you can't eat the food that you used to eat before. You can't go places you went before. So, like for the dieting, what's your diet like? What when you're in a training camp or a session?
My diet is a lot of vegetables, a lot of whole grain stuff, lots of water. I stay away from like McDonald's and all that stuff. I do have like a sweet tooth, so I
Yeah,
kind of
same.
try. Yeah, I try to limit like the candy and stuff, but yeah, it's a lot of just basically healthy food, like vegetables and fruits, brown flour, all that stuff. Lots of water.
So, like in the whole boxing in general, what do you think was your biggest struggle is in just for this whole just for boxing in general for you? What do you think would be your biggest struggle?
Uh, just the discipline, to be honest. That's like I think the biggest one. A lot of like boxers, amateur, I get and pro face like the discipline, like the fighting is the easy part. Like honestly, if you just give me a pair of gloves and tell me like, yo, you're fighting this man, I'll do it. But like the discipline, like to go to training every day, to eat healthy, to do like your runs, do your sprints, all that stuff. That's probably the hardest part.
The last question. All right. So, if you knew someone who was coming up in boxing, what would you tell them so they wouldn't have to make any mistakes or just have a better experience than you did? What would it be?
Um, what would my advice be? Just back to the discipline, like the more you stay disciplined, the easier the fights and the training would be, and the more times you kind of go off track, you kind of
Uh-huh.
waste time because you fall off track, then you got to get it back on track. So you kind of waste time doing all that. But yeah, just stay disciplined and take things slow. A lot of guys when they get into boxing or get into anything, they wanna like be like they wanna be the best and like fast as they can. Just take things slow
Uh-huh.
and just kind of set a goal. Like my goal is just to become like a better fighter every day. Little by little. Even if I do like little things every day, just set a goal
Uh-huh.
because it's not gonna be it's probably one of the hardest things you're gonna do to like try to do something in fighting because it takes physical and mental. It's like one of those. It's not, and then
Uh-huh.
obviously going in there and facing another man who's been training with like people watch boxing and stuff and see it as like fun, but like the reality is you're going in there to fight a guy who's been training for months to hurt you basically. Like
Uh-huh.
that's how it is. But yeah, just take things slow and be disciplined and see how far you could take it. That would be the biggest advice.
All right, Zahir. Thank you for joining. Thank you for just joining the podcast. Greatly appreciate it, man.
Thanks
And
for having me, man.
no problem. And do you know who you fight next?
Well, my next fight is planned for May 4th. It's not confirmed yet, but I'll see who I'm fighting. I don't really know a name or anything yet, but May 4th is like it's planned for that.
Oh, all right. So what is that like a Saturday?
May 4th. Yeah, it should be a Friday or a Saturday, but I don't know where it is. I don't know like who the guy is
Oh, you
yet.
don't.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
I won't know until later on.
All right. Again, thank you. Greatly appreciated. I enjoyed it learning about boxing from behind the scenes rather than just watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And guys, this is the end of this week's episode. Obviously, as I said, it's not about the Raptors today, but it is just more about sports in general. And Zahir, I hope you have a great fight. I hope you win. and good luck in general. And just overall, thank you, guys. Thank you for joining.
Yep. Thanks for having me, man.
No
It's fun.
problem. All right, guys, I'm signing out. Oh wait, and before Zahir, do you want to plug your social media?
Yeah. Instagram only Zahir Zahirmi on Instagram.
All right, guys, this is the end of this week's episode. Hope you guys have a great week, and I am out.